Thank you, Chairman Jimenez. Madam Assistant Secretary, thank you for your testimony. I appreciate the concerns that have been raised about foreign-made cranes. However, U.S. critical infrastructure and supply chains face a wide range of threats beyond cranes. How does DHS identify vulnerabilities to critical infrastructure and supply chains, and how does DHS take action based on relative risks?
Absolutely. I think you have made a good point in that not only the role of seaports are indispensable to national security, but broader supply chain security, resiliency and efforts are indispensable. DHS has a wide mission, as I mentioned in my opening statement, trade facilitation and enforcement, protecting our cyberspaces, critical infrastructure security, and emergency preparedness and response. And we have to execute on all of those missions across the totality of critical infrastructures. So not only seaports, transportation systems, but all the 16 sectors of critical infrastructure nodes.
Thank you. And Madam Assistant Secretary, I represent the city of Detroit. The Port of Detroit is not among the largest U.S. ports and does not have any container cranes. But it is still vital to the local economy and must be protected against cyber attacks. However, small and medium-sized ports do not always have the same resources available to large ports as they seek to invest in cybersecurity measures. What is DHS doing to ensure small and medium-sized ports are not left behind as we look to enhance cybersecurity?
Thank you so much for the question. As we had said in our earlier statements as well, national security is very much inextricably linked to the smooth functioning of ports. And that means not only the large ports, but many of the smaller ones that constitute our maritime transportation system. On a typical day, we see CBP processing, as I said, billions of tons of goods, millions of tons of goods, and processing up to $9.2 billion of imported products. So the value as well as the volume is quite significant. From a DHS perspective, we're committed to, across all sizes of businesses and critical infrastructure organizations, providing a whole host of free, cost-free services that enable those organizations to take cyber hygiene training, guidance, other types of services. We also are leveraging hundreds of advisors and subject matter experts drawn from all sectors and all types of businesses to make sure that they're at the table and helping inform and develop those guidelines. And then finally, DHS also provides funds to state and local and private sector, not only in the maritime critical infrastructure sectors, but across those sectors to aid in cyber preparedness, but also in prevention and testing and exercise against the whole range of hazards.
Thank you so much, Elwan. I'm glad to see the administration taking bold action to enhance port cybersecurity. However, some of these actions will take quite a while to show results, such as domestic manufacturing of cranes and the publication and implementation of regulations. What is the Coast Guard doing to address cybersecurity threats in the near term?
Ranking Member, you're correct. The notice of paroles rulemaking that is out there, we're going to get a lot of feedback on that so that we get that right as we move forward, which will raise the bar across the entirety of the MTS. I would say that there are existing requirements to do vulnerability assessments across the MTS and assess those threats and hazards, working across the interagency to ensure that when those vulnerabilities are identified, we reach back into the facility security officers to ensure that those vulnerabilities can be closed. And I think it's important to note that the executive order that was issued explicitly gives us the authority to control access, vessel movements, access to facilities when an identified vulnerability exists. So I think we can take immediate action today, but I think raising the bar across the board for the rulemaking process will get a more level playing field across the MTS.
Thank you. Gentlemen, my time is up. I yield back.